Welcome back to the Deeper 2025 podcast. I'm excited to be with you today. We're going to finish up today the book of Matthew 28. Matthew 28 talks about the resurrection of Jesus. It talks about the women who go to the tomb and the angels. The angel tells him, he's not here, he's risen. And then the very end of the chapter talks about what we call the Great Commission, where Jesus instructs his disciples to make disciples of all nations. The start of Matthew 28 is probably the most crucial part of the Bible. Why would I say that? Because Paul would mention that if the resurrection didn't happen, then all we do is in vain. If the resurrection didn't happen, then really there's no hope for anything. And so the resurrection is what everything in Christianity hinges on, and Matthew 28 gives us a recap of what happened that Sunday morning, that Easter Sunday morning, when Jesus was raised from the dead. And so we celebrate today the resurrection. In fact, I know we celebrate the resurrection on Easter, but we should celebrate the resurrection every single Sunday, every single day in our life. We should celebrate the resurrection. Why? Because Jesus is alive, and that changes everything. It changes everything about our day-to-day. And then he goes on to talk about, because our day has changed, because everything has changed in this life because of the resurrection, now we are called to be a part of his story and to share his story with other people. Jesus says, all authority has been given to me. Every single bit of authority is given me. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you predict that you're going to die and come back to life, and then you do. God the Father gave every single bit of authority to him, and because that authority has been given to Jesus, now he is giving us authority to go out and make disciples, not only here, but everywhere, to the ends of the earth. And so we look at that and we respond to this command by sharing our story about what Jesus has done for us and teaching them. Jesus says, you go and teach them everything that I've taught you, teach them everything you know about me, and baptize them. And that is our call. That is our mission. But I love what he says there at the end. And lo, I am with you to the end of the age. I am with you. He has a promise there that his presence is going to be with us as we go out to make disciples. That's a really comforting thing for me, because I'm just not that good at sharing and meeting new people, and I'm not that good at converting people. In fact, I can't convert people. You can't convert people. And I think that's sometimes the holdup, isn't it? Like, we don't share our story because we don't know how people are going to respond. If you knew people were going to respond positively, you'd share your story all the time. You'd share what Jesus means to you all the time. But we are promised that Jesus is with us, and he will be with us until the very end. And so we can lean on him. We can lean on his wisdom. We can lean on his guidance as we fulfill this calling in our life to make disciples. And by the way, making disciples is not just for people that work at the church. Did you catch that in Matthew 28? Like, Jesus doesn't say, make disciples if you're on staff at a church. He says, no, if you're a disciple of mine, if you're a follower of Jesus, you will go about and be about my business, and that is making disciples of all nations. Now, I think there's a couple of ways we do that. We can make disciples of all nations by going. By the way, I think every believer ought to go on at least one international mission trip. At least one. To go to the ends of the earth and tell people about Jesus. You can pray for the missionaries we have. We have over 3,500 missionaries that we share. We have several missionaries that we support directly in Costa Rica and in Asia. And so you can pray for them that they would be granted fruitfulness in their sharing of the gospel. And you can give. You can give money to make sure that those ministries continue on. And so there's 3 ways that you can make disciples right there. Some of them you don't even have to leave your couch to help make disciples. But I think all of us have to be a part, whether we go internationally or not, we have to be a part of sharing the gospel. And I think really what this boils down to is we've got to live with a purpose. We've got to intentionally live with a purpose. You and I have been given a purpose, and that purpose is to make disciples. And so if you want to have a life that's fulfilled, that's fulfilling, that you say, man, I feel like I am actually accomplishing something here on planet Earth, you start making disciples, and that's how you'll feel. You will feel like you are accomplishing something when you start to make disciples and share what Jesus has done in your life with other people. And so today, don't shirk the responsibility that we have to share our faith and to make disciples. Go today and make disciples.